All aboard! It's time for episode 16
of the Rusty and Jan Show.
This week we're going to be talking about traveling. As you might see, we're at Richland Station for the Cape May Seashore Lines. It's the train that my grandfather used to be a part of that I wrote Pop's Train about. We're doing a little bit of video work.
It's a new world for the vaccinated, and we'll be exploring some of the options reopening to us.
And we'll talk and update you on events in the area as things are beginning to open up. And we had a really interesting interview with Joe Adams from California.
And of course, our episode would not be complete without hearing from George about the happenings at Melanie Cafe.
So if you're ready, we'll just get started with
the Rusty and Jan Show.
All aboard! When the world comes crashing down on us, they're always there, and they're always happy company because they care. Oh yes, they care. And when you need to take out pain, well, no one else will do. Got the phone or go on Zoom. Thank God there are friends like you. I said, thank God there are friends like you.
Our song of the week was written by Barry Dwyer. It's called Blame the Singer, Not the Song.
Does that mean like blame Barry?
Yes, it does, actually.
Okay. It's all your fault, man.
So it's your fault.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I never was much about the golden rule. Hanging out on corners, skipping out on school, party all night, sleep most of the day away. Swear like a sailor and I dress like a slob, and doing any work requires getting a job. And folks like me, we just ain't built that way. Okay. You see, I'd rather play blues around an old campfire than sing church music in a gospel choir. If that makes me wrong, blame the singer, not the song. Well, I never was much of the marrying kind. Ask wife number 1 up to wife number 9. A no good lazy bum, that's what each one would say. Hey. But from every frying pan I took in the head, to each fine lady I squired to bed, I don't regret a thing, wouldn't change a single day, no way. You see, I'd rather play music in a seedy old bar than sleep off a bender in the back of my car. I ain't what I ain't, so blame the sinner, not the saint. To play blues around an old campfire and sing church music in a gospel choir. If that makes me wrong, blame the singer, not the song. If that makes me wrong, blame the singer, not the song. If that makes me wrong, blame the singer, not the song. If that makes me wrong, blame the singer, not the song.
Great.
Nice song.
Okay.
And now it's time for Going Out with Rusty and Jan. Welcome to Going Out with Rusty and Jan. We have an exciting lineup of guests over the upcoming weeks of the Rusty and Jan show. On May the 24th, we'll welcome Carrie Rump. On May 31st will be our special Spring Thing edition, so be prepared for a few surprises.
Mhm.
We still don't know what we're doing, so it'll be really surprising.
Were you surprised we didn't know what we were doing? I mean, what the heck?
And then on June the 7th, we'll hear from our friend Ted Jordan.
Venues are reopening everywhere as more people are becoming vaccinated. Melolani Cafe is continuing to have outdoor performances. Jan and I will perform there on May 22nd from 1 to 4. Come by, play a tune.
Definitely, please do. And then on May the 23rd, Jefferson Berry and the UAC will have a record release party for their album Double Deadbolt Logic at 4 p.m. As always, make sure that you go out and support these artists and, of course, have some of George's delicious food. If you're interested in scheduling a performance at Melolani, contact me.
Yeah, and Jefferson Berry, you saw that commercial that he did for Melolani each week on our website. So he's a real supporter, and we should get out and see him. So anyhow, we had our first historic hybrid in-person virtual open mic. Yay! At Melolani last Thursday, and it was a smashing success. We're continuing to work on a couple of minor issues, but we're feeling optimistic. It will continue to take place outdoors in the garden at the plant shop next to Melolani every Thursday from 6 to 9:30. For now, we will continue online sign-ups every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Don't be late.
Yeah, they don't mess around, these people.
These people don't mess around. They're very serious.
Spots go fast.
Absolutely. Those Melolaniites. Oh. Anyhow.
They're serious folk.
Yeah. Go.
As previously mentioned, a number of festivals are planned for this season. PFS Spring Thing will be held virtually May 29th and 30th.
And Philadelphia Folk Festival will take place from August 19th through the 22nd. We're still waiting to hear whether it will be virtual, in person, or some combination of both, and we'll let you know as soon as we know, as soon as we get a confirmation.
I did hear this week that they say that they're feeling optimistic, so I guess we'll just wait and see.
Well, and if they do it, we'll be there.
Right. XFest will take place in person at Country Creek Winery on September 17th and 18th.
And PFS Fall Fling will happen in person October 1st through the 3rd, with limited attendance in Green Lane, Pennsylvania.
And Falcon Ridge Folk Festival will have a one-day outdoor hybrid event on July 31st in Goshen, Connecticut. More details to come as we receive them. Now, we're still waiting to understand exactly what a hybrid folk festival is.
Yeah.
I suspect it's something similar to what we did at Melolani last week.
Yeah, you might want to check the website on that. The way things are going, things are changing by the hour. So I'm sure as these venues are opening up, we'll be astute for changes every day. So we'll keep up with it. Rusty and Jan will let you know how it's going.
Right. Well, now it's time to see what George is cooking up at the Melolani Cafe this week. It's time for George's Corner.
Hey everybody, and welcome to George's Corner. I'd like to thank Rusty and Jan for having me on the show this week. We had a wonderful outdoor open mic this week on Thursday. It was from 6 to 9, and we did virtual and live in-person open mic outdoors on Thursday. So we're going to be doing this again this week on Thursday from 6 to 9:30. You need to sign up the day before online. And we're doing virtual and online, and we had a TV and the sound, so it worked out really great. And then this weekend is on Sunday is Jefferson's release party, and that starts at 4:00. Jefferson Berries is going to do a CD release party, so come check that out. That's going to be on Sunday. So come check out, and we have music on Saturday too, and the open mic on Thursday. I'd like to thank everybody, and come check me out at Malani Cafe. Bye.
And now it's time for Head to Head with Rusty and Jan.
Rusty, are you a traveling man?
Oh, you mean like, I'm a traveling man.
Exactly.
Seen a lot of time. All over the world.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, I am now because I'm vaccinated. But I have to admit, the post-pandemic has created some travel challenges.
We've been inching our way out recently.
Yes, we've been contacted by some of our senior facilities, and things are starting to return to the way they were before the quarantine.
And it felt so good to be playing for our senior friends over at Immaculate Mary last week.
Absolutely. Not to mention the success of our first hybrid open mic at Melilani, where we're able to combine in-person and virtual sets and stream it over Facebook.
Everyone was able to see and hear everyone else, and I still can't believe we managed to pull that off.
I know, right? But, well, we pull it off because Jan does such a good job. Right? It's not so much me, it's her, anyhow.
We all know that, but that's okay.
We're still working on resolving the unique challenges this new format presented, but we're feeling pretty optimistic after last week.
On Saturday, we went to Richland Station of Cape May Seashore Line to get some footage for a video that we're planning for Rusty's song, Pop's Train.
It's going so good. We got to meet some people down there. We're going to be having an event on September 25th, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the railroad that my grandfather worked on, a song that I wrote about it. So.
Yes, and on the 25th, we'll be working with Justin Taylor to come up with an official version of it.
Yeah, if you don't know Justin Taylor, he does something on Thursday nights as well on Facebook. You can check that out after you're done with our open mic. What's happening on the 25th is the 70th anniversary of the train. It'll be down at Tuckahoe Station, and we hope that you'll join us to be a part of our video. If you can dress in late 50s, early 60s attire, that would be kind of cool. So,
we also had the honor of playing an hour-long set at the North Penn High School on Sunday for people waiting in line to get their COVID vaccinations.
This was organized by our friend Deb Halpern, who a lot of you might know from Folk Song Society. And we also saw Pete Taney coming up to start his set as we were finishing up. It's great. We worked with Pete when we were first getting started with the virtual open mic and comparing notes and getting our equipment all set up. So it was really great to see him after more than a year.
We understand as we start to go to different places that there are going to be different rules and policies regarding mask wearing. People are understandably still afraid, and it may take some time before things start to feel normal again, whatever that means. Was anything ever normal?
But it's a new world. So our advice is if you find yourself in a situation where you aren't sure, err on the side of caution. Just bring your mask with you. If you feel uncomfortable, put it on. It's not like you're not used to it yet. So,
and stay socially distant.
That's it.
And we look forward to seeing you in all of our travels. Absolutely.
We wouldn't know what to do if you weren't there. So, speaking of traveling, we had an interview with a real traveling man, Joe Adams from San Francisco. Here's how it went.
Well, I'm really excited this week. We have a special guest, someone who's been everywhere and been nowhere. And he's going nowhere quickly. So this is our good friend from San Francisco. Used to be a Philly folker, Joe Adams.
Hi, Joe.
Hello. Hi, boys and girls out there in TV land. How are you all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Every day above Earth is a good day.
There we go.
Yes,
That's right.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
it's been a beautiful day too.
Yeah, and you've been
Yes,
seeing them. You've been seeing them go under the earth lately. You've been very involved.
Now, you know, that's what happens when you live longer. You put people down.
Yeah, but I mean more precisely, you go into the hospital and you see a lot of devastation as a result.
I go to the hospital, bring new life in.
That's right.
That's right.
You're a
We're
OB
catching,
nurse.
I like that.
catching babies. Add to the population problem. Maybe one of them will save the world.
There you go.
That's
Oh, I
right.
love that.
I like that.
That's the way-
idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, aside from that, I know that you're a local folkie from Philadelphia. What first got you involved with music?
Actually, I'm a Delco boy.
A Delco.
I grew up in Upper Darby.
I see.
But when I say I've been everywhere and never stayed long. We left Upper Darby before I graduated from high school, moved to Florida. I had a very short, unpleasant experience in high school in Florida. Went to college for a year, left Florida, came back to Philadelphia just in time for Mayor Rizzo to call Nixon and say, send the Marines, the hippies are coming to burn the city down. If you remember 1976 in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came back to Philly figuring it's going to be a big party, lots of gigs. So the day after I got to town, Rizzo just kind of threw a wet blanket on everything. So I spent the summer in Wildwood.
Yeah, I would.
Chasing girls on the boardwalk, it's
Yes.
back then.
With your guitar, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
I started out taking lessons from the nuns at Catholic school in Drexel Hill. It was the height of the folk mass.
Yeah.
Michael Row You Boat Ashore, that kind of
Sure.
pseudo folk thing. And
Not
they
to
would
mention the folk music that we heard in Catholic Church. They had their own group of folkies.
Yes, it was very.
I remember this guy
It was
Sebastian.
very
somebody.
whitewashed.
Yeah.
Nothing like listening to a bunch of suburban kids,
Right.
being groovy.
And nuns with guitars. That was a big thing when we were young.
Yeah, well,
there were
the
lots of
problem-
nuns with guitars.
The problem was they wouldn't teach us how to play rock and roll.
Right.
But I learned enough from them to learn how to read music and put it down for a couple of years. And then I guess it was 8th grade. Picked it up again and started banging out Bob Dylan songs. And
Seems to be the way of most people.
Yeah, a year later, I think my first year of high school, the very first John Prine record came out. And I was sold on that. I just fell in love with John Prine. And I've always been a bit of a musicologist. So when I was looking at records, I looked at who wrote the songs. And if it was somebody that wasn't in the band, I'd go find who that person was. So I discovered Blind Willie McTell and Robert Johnson. And when everybody else in high school was listening to the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin, I was listening to the Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all the Chicago and Delta blues stuff.
Wow.
Spent a long time with that stuff. And then, from there, it's a short jump to swing and jazz.
Yeah.
And when I ended up back in Philadelphia, after I dropped out of college in 76, I started going back downtown again. When I was in high school at Upper Darby, we used to come downtown on Sunday nights to go to the Cherry Tree Folk Music Club at St. Mary's on Locust Walk.
Right. Ginger Cracker was involved with that for a while.
Yeah. I got exposed to people like Paul Siebel.
Oh, wow.
Roy Bookbinder, the blues, all these original blues guys, Paul Jeremiah, outrageous blues guys who had all studied with Reverend Gary Davis. And the big local hero from Philadelphia, Jack McGann, who brought swing music to the folkies.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. I see how it's all connected now.
Sure.
How would you typically describe the music that you make?
No, man, I'll play anything from Scott Joplin to Charles Mingus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear that.
I don't have genres. I don't have borders that way.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, that's a better way to
I
do
write.
it. Sure.
I write protest songs. I write humorous songs. I write I write jazz tunes.
Uh-huh.
I think probably the nicest one I've written was a result of going to David Grisman's mandolin camp
Wow.
at the University of Santa Cruz in the summer of 2011. And the guy who organizes the camp for Grisman calls me on the phone. He says, "Yeah, you're driving past the airport. Can you pick up this guy? He's flying in from Brazil." And so I picked up this guy at the airport who was a professor at the University of Sao Paulo, and he's big on a Brazilian music called choro. Not the deep fried cinnamon donuts of Mexico.
Churro.
Choro. And in Portuguese, it means crying or tears. And it's got influence of ragtime, early jazz, Dixieland jazz, Portuguese fado, French musette, and the African rhythms too, going on behind it.
Wow.
It's basically the roots music behind samba and bossa nova.
I see. Well,
It's
you've apparently had a lot of musical experiences, not notwithstanding the fact that you used to be East Coast and now you're San Francisco, give me that Golden Gate.
Actually, I'm across the bay. I'm across the bay in Emeryville, or as we say when we abbreviate it, I live in Eville.
Okay.
In Eville, okay.
Now, how would you compare the music scene of Philadelphia with that of the West Coast?
I've been out there full time since 2006, 2007. So I can compare it to what it was like when I was living here through the 90s and the early aughts. There's a lot more places to gig in the Bay Area. There's just lots of places to gig. At least pre-COVID was.
I think people would have the conception of LA and San Francisco. That's where the opportunity is. But I think it's fair to say that's also where the competition is as well.
Oh, yeah.
For the same reason.
Yes, this is true. It's like, if you go to Nashville, there's going to be a lot of good players in Nashville. You go to Austin, there's a ton of good players in Austin. Right. There's a lot of really good players in the Bay Area. And some of them are people that were nationally famous at one time. I've been to song circles at the house of a guy who played with Dr. Hook in his medicine show.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember them?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On the cover of the Rolling Stone. Yeah, those people they're all over the area. I was going to visit a friend who lives up in Santa Rosa, which is Sonoma County, and I stopped at the supermarket to get something for the potluck, and I come around the corner and I'm walking down the condiment aisle, and there's Tom Waits looking at the ketchup bottles in the condiment aisle, and he's standing there and he's like, he's making these little grunts to himself, and I walked up and trying really hard not to fangirl in the worst way, and it's like, excuse me, and I reached in and I grabbed a bottle of ketchup because that's what I wanting. He goes, that looks good. And I just nodded at him, he knew, I knew, he knew, I knew, he knew. But
well, it's kind of hard to be a celebrity in your own town, especially in the supermarket, right?
That people, it's like New York in that. Yeah. I've heard interviews with famous musicians and actors who live in New York, and they're like, yeah, but here, you walk down the street and people are used to seeing you. It's no big deal.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to charge in your own town. You know what I mean? You only charge the big money when you go out of town. When you're at home, it's like, oh, really? You're going to charge me that much? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's on a certain level that can be true.
Right.
I was doing a house concert series at the yacht club that we belong to.
Right.
And the guys who live in the area that I've had play who are nationally famous didn't draw really big because they play in that area a lot.
Right.
So somebody's like, yeah, I can go see him next week at the bar
and have a drink.
Yeah. Whereas, when I brought in people who are East Coast musicians, like Roy Bookbinder,
Yeah.
you know, we filled the house
Yeah.
for that. You know, one little house concert, he was able to walk away with $1,000 in his pocket.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is a lesson to musicians who stay too close to home and don't venture out. You know, it's there's a market out there if you're willing to, if you have the guts to go after it. You know. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of small regional markets now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to make the connections.
Uh-huh. So speaking of music, you got a song for us?
Well, sure.
This is a song called Work With What You Got. And like many of my songs, it's all true except for the part that I made up. And the people that could tell you the difference, they're not around anymore. So you gotta take my word for it. Here's to buying cars at 10 o'clock at night in the barrio so you can get to a sorority party. An old Chevy with a rope through the bumper and the hood, cracked pepper in a radiator, well that works pretty good. Bananas in your tranny and some oatmeal too. Show me 3 Bennett's, got a pink for you. Gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. Better than bitching about what is not. Oh no, it's time to go. I hear the silver dog call my name. Oh no, it's time to go. If I stay here, it won't be the same. Feed my voodoo on black cat bones, fresh chicken blood. Don't go dancing on the levee when it's ready to flood. Don't bring that black cat back around here. Luck feels far away, trouble's drawing near. You gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. Better than bitching about what is not. Well, the older I get, the less I know. The younger I feel, the more I show. The later it gets, the better it feels. If I wake up tomorrow, that'd be a good deal. Well, she rang me down just to talk about the rabbit. Here comes that brass ring. You better reach out and grab it. Now I'm polishing my boots into black bottom mud. Right now that Greyhound ticket, well, it looks pretty good. You gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. You gotta work with what you got. Better than bitching about what is not. Oh no, it's time to go. I hear the silver dog call my name. Oh no, it's time to go. If I stay here, I might go insane. Old Chevy with a rope through the bumper in the hood, cracked pepper in the radiator, well that works pretty good. Bananas in the tranny and some oatmeal too. Show me 5 pennies, got a pig for you. You gotta work with what you It's mostly true. If you ever run into Jimmy, you ask him about it.
Now, you're an old guy. I think it's pretty obvious, you know. Now that we have video as well as audio, we can tell, we can see, so now you've made it this far. You've been involved in music all of your life, and learned a lot, obviously, how to play, styles, all that kind of stuff. If you had it to do all over again, if you're 18, what's your advice? How would you set somebody on?
I mean, if just somebody wants to be a professional musician.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think
Any
that's
musician.
part of what I'm asking. I mean, is being professional, is that the goal, or is it being part of a community?
I made a living for about a year and a half in the late 70s as a musician, but that's mostly because my living standards were low, and
well, that's part of it, right?
The thing, well, yeah, I was sharing a house with 3 other people, and the rent was $160 a month, so you only had to come up with $40 a month to cover your nut, which was nice. The one thing I noticed, because I didn't play out at all for many years while my kids were growing up, I went back to playing again in the 50s, in my 50s, in the mid 90s. And when I had played in the 70s, for bar gigs, you would sign a contract and you would play 4 sets on Friday night, 4 sets on Saturday night. And some places, if they serve Sunday brunch, they might want you to come in and play brunch too.
Yeah.
And you got a guaranteed amount of money for playing, 2 nights or 3 nights, plus a cut of the door. When I went back to playing again in the 90s, you're going to play at bars and there's 5 bands playing. You get a cold piece of pizza and 1 draft beer.
Yep.
I don't see how kids can make any money out of it these days.
Yeah.
Doing it like we used to do it.
Right.
The band that I worked with, we were called Kitchen Help.
Yeah.
And we played acoustic swing. We looked like a bluegrass band. Had twin fiddles, upright bass, rhythm guitar. I played lead guitar. I played lap steel. 4-part vocal harmonies on everything. And this band, we worked it out. We practiced like 5 nights a week for 6 months before we did our first gig.
Yeah.
And we did Dan Hickson's Hot Lick style stuff. We did Bob Wills of Sweep the Wheel, Merle Haggard, the Flying Burrito Brothers.
Wow.
Other things that have become folk standards now over the years. And it was at the time of disco.
Yeah, well, that's kind of
most of our gigs were college gigs, but we still made enough money at it. When that band broke up, I got an offer through the grapevine that the guy who did the wedding band for L&M Caterers on Westchester Pike was auditioning guitar players for his wedding band, which would have been regular work, 4 gigs every weekend.
Yeah.
2 gigs on Saturday, 2 gigs on Sunday. And I went down and I auditioned for it. And I knew enough, even at that time, playing jazz chords and, that I could go through a fake book. I didn't really expect to have such a gut reaction to having to play the Electric Slide or Celebrate or YMCA. And I went home with a binder that was like yay thick. Right. The guy's like, yeah, there you go. We'll do a run through on Thursday night, and then the first gig's on Saturday, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we do a daytime wedding, we do an evening wedding, Saturday and Sunday. Occasionally we'll get a Friday wedding too. And I went home and I sat down in my little music studio room with the book and my guitar, and I got like 2/3 of the way through. I was like, oh my God, this is going to kill my joy.
That's right. I've heard
this
that
is
story.
Going to kill my joy. I don't know that I can do that. And I called the guy up, and the next day I was like, I'm going to return the book to you. I'm not going to take the gig.
Yeah.
Thanks
I
anyway.
Understand that. Well, we have friends who have played wedding bands, and they go on and they do it for 5 years or 10 years. And then they say, that's it. I can't do another wedding gig. Or, it's tough. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the plan as it now stands is I'm going to be rediscovered.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a recently surfaced tape of that swing band recorded live at the Chad's Fork Tavern on September 9th, 1977. And there's like six songs on it that were worth actually saving and digitalizing. One of the wife of one of the singers in the band, who I'm still really excellent friends with. In fact, my kids are friends with his kids. Even though they grew up in the city and all his kids grew up in Delco. His wife sent me a CD of this live recording. So now there's the lost tapes of the album that was released by my band in 1977. It was released to stunned silence.
Yeah.
But now I have, it completes the picture. So the plan is, I'm going to retire. I'm going to retire from nursing in another year and a half, and I'm going to be rediscovered. I'll be like those old folkies that they had playing the festival in '63, who made 2 records in 1927 and were still alive.
Sounds more like Eddie and the Cruisers.
Here's a fun question for you. If you could collaborate with any musician, dead or alive, who would you pick?
Oh, Jesus.
He's already taken.
I don't know. If I could get, the first thing that comes to my mind is John Prine, because we just lost him so recently.
Right.
He's, he was such a great writer, and I'd have to say a big influence. But man, there's, I love Thelonious Monk. I don't know how much Mingus would tolerate me, but Charles Mingus, I have this plan. I have orchestration sketched out for the classic Mingus album.
What was that?
What was that?
The classic Charles Mingus album that where Goodbye Pork Pie Hat came from. Recorded on May 12th of 1959, the day my darling wife was born. That record was recorded. But I have orchestration sketched out to do a bluegrass band variation on Mingus.
I see. Jeez.
Yeah.
You are like no other guest.
I can't find a
tell you
player with
are.
balls. I haven't yet found a banjo player with the balls to do it. So
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, who would I most like to collaborate with? I guess John Prine, George and his darling wife, Ira Gershwin. I love I love all that great songbook stuff. Used to make fun of Frank Sinatra because that's what our parents listened to.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at the sheet music for stuff that guys like Jimmy Van Heusen wrote for him, the melodies, the harmonies, it's beautiful.
Well, we are we're nursing home musicians. Our chief demographic is the 80 and up crowd, so we're fortunate that we get to play some of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it.
Why don't you play another song for us?
Well, hello again. Welcome to day 14 of Songs for the Pandemic. Tonight we have a song that's dedicated to that forgotten institution known as Sunday brunch, and the centerpiece of brunch, pig meat. I used to try and live a healthy life, followed doctor's orders, and I obeyed my wife. Now that I made it to this ripe old age, think it's time for me to turn a new page. Well, praise the Lord and pass that bacon, whether it's beans or biscuits you're making. Let's all thank God for that pig. I said, praise the Lord and pass the bacon, whatever you're dishing up, I'm taking. It's all thank God for that pig. After working all day until I dropped, did a mixed cabbage and a big pork chop, Hoppin' John and a ham hock on the side. Keep my skillet good and greasy. When I go out, fight over easy with the bag. crackling deep fried. Collard greens and barbecue ribs, honey glazed ham I'm a callin' dip, bread and butter pickles and some good cornbread. Chorizo and sweet fennel sausage, bet your life you never saw such goodness coming from one quadruped. I said, praise the Lord and pass the bacon, whether it's greens or grits you're making. Let's all thank God for that pig. Praise the Lord and pass the bacon, whatever you're dishing up I'm taking. Let's all thank God for that pig. I said, praise the Lord, pass the liquor, ain't that what we got signs for? Don't ask about my lab score, clean your plate and go get some more. Praise the Lord, pass the bacon, whether it's greens or grits you're making. Let's all thank God for that pig. Pour a pool or pot liquor, 6 seconds, can't eat no quicker. Don't care if tomorrow I wake up dead. Buttermilk biscuits and sausage gravy, I say more, I don't say maybe, with a couple of sunny fried eggs. Yeah, head cheese scrapple and ring bologna, get the best from the Amish only. Trotter's crop and smoked buck, that might be my favorite cut. Braised country ribs and pork fried rice, I think cold beer might be nice. Let's all thank God for that pig. I said, praise the Lord and pass the bacon, whether it's beans or biscuits you're making. Let's all thank God for that pig. Praise the Lord and pass the bacon, whatever you're dishing up I'm taking. Let's all thank God for that pig. Praise the Lord and pass the bacon, I'm in love, I ain't faking. Say my son, don't leave me forsaken, that's one fabulous pig. Sweet! Mmm. Yum, 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 yum.
Before we let you go, do you have a website, or where can people get recordings of your music?
If you're on Facebook, you can search for Joe Adams Songs for the Pandemic, and it's got about 40 or 45 of my original songs on there. I was doing a song a night at the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, I have an older website on Wix.com. And if you search on SoundCloud or Wix.com for resophonic reebok.
Okay, well, thank you, Joe.
Thanks so much, Joe. We look forward
my pleasure.
Yeah, look forward to your being around this summer.
Yeah.
And
how much do you think I could get for this guitar on the street?
Yeah, right. We'll see if you can't make some money with it along the way.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thanks
Set up
again.
the fireplace, Marcy. Coming inside. Thank you, guys. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
So, Jan, sure is nice to be traveling again.
It sure is, even if only in short distances.
It's especially nice to get a hug from someone we haven't seen in over a year.
Absolutely. After this year, they seem so much more special to
And
us.
they definitely are, not to mention the people that we get to share our time with here virtually and over at the Melaleuca Cafe. So, since this is about traveling, we'd like to give you an updated version on our hit, Pop Train.
I was driving down Route 55, heading for the Jersey Shore, when the traffic began to slow, like every summer before. Saw a sign for Tuckahoe Station down a dusty lane. I reflected on my childhood as I dreamt about Pop's train. My grandpop was a conductor on the Pennsylvania seashore line.
We rode from Philly to Cape May, and the shoebox lunch was mine. Pop would punch your ticket as he sped by trays and towns. His playful smile and pleasant way could overturn your summer frown. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we'd travel down the track. We made some stops along the way as we brought those shoebies back. Pop called out each station, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May, and the sea and sand called us on a Jersey summer day. One day we had a meaningful trip, the final one for my pop. This night he would retire, but not before a special stop. It took me to the engine where I made that whistle blow. His conductor days came to a close in a town called Tuckahoe. I headed down that dusty lane till I reached its end. That was when I saw her, my forgotten childhood friend. I climbed inside and found that seat, the same one as before. Thought back to my younger years and my trips down the Jersey Shore. I closed my eyes, I could feel the rumbling of that track. And only for a moment, my sweet memories all rushed back. Now Pop's train now sits and rusts away, her glory days long gone. She will be remembered every time I sing this song. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we'd travel down that track. It made some stops along the way until the beach would call us back. I called out each station, Ocean City, one will Cape May, and the sea and sand would call us on a Jersey summer day. We'd board Pop's train in Camden, then we'd travel down the track. It made some stops along the way as we brought those shoebies back. Pop called down each station, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May. All aboard! And the sea and sand would call us on a Jersey summer day.